6 hours, 20 minutes. Elsewhere on the salt pan, a striking-looking woman is imprisoned behind the same laser fence. She stands alone next to one of the steel towers, her quad bike parked nearby, its engine idles. Her blue prison uniform is identified by the European flag and the number 78. Locked around her neck is the same lethal steel collar, but on her it looks like expensive contemporary jewelry. Her uniform has been fashionably torn off at the upper thighs and shoulders, exposing a lot of tanned and toned flesh. Her blonde ponytail drifts down her athletic, muscular back. A magazine cartridge belt wraps tightly around her small waist. 2 pistols are strapped to her outer thighs. Slung across her back, she carries an M16. Her army chic style would not look out of place on the catwalks of Milan. She examines the complex Q-switches electronics within the Transformer's metal box. The Transformer is identical to the ones the Americans have just discovered. She closes the box's cover, then using her fingertip, she writes something onto its dusty surface. Finished, she steps back and admires her handiwork, then reads it back to herself. Lola will win. Lola jumps back onto her quad and speeds away, leaving the laser fence behind her. At the European container, the 9 remaining team members stand in a rough semicircle. One of the group, an Englishman, busies himself by scrunching up a small blanket into a ball shape. Not long to go, boys, the Englishman says. He wraps some duct tape around the bundle. Shouldn't we be doing something more constructive? The Irishman asks. I'm constructing, so I am doing, unlike you, who is merely watching and not constructing. You are stagnant. Don't you mean static? I know what I mean. And I meant constructive, not constructing. I feel we should maybe be doing something more positive. Listen here, Irish. The Englishman holds up the makeshift soccer ball he has just created. What's this? It's a ball, I think. Wrong. It's morale. That's what it is, a morale booster. The Englishman flips the ball up into the air and boots it along the ground. It bounces off a blue Humvee and lands near the European's cash-laden blue case. What if I don't like your football? The Irishman asks. Then you're probably gay. Oh, I see. Rightio. The Englishman retrieves the ball. I'll obviously be England, and Herman the German here, he points to a tall, thin man, will captain the mighty Deutschland. The German man holds up his hand. What? The Englishman asks. My name is not Herman, it is Engelbrecht. Of course it is, Herman. So we play 4-a-side. The Finn here, he points to a rotund Finnish woman, can be ref. I can be referee. I am a good referee. Why would you make her referee? The Italian asks. She woman from Finlandio. Perfecto refereo gizio. Comprehendo? The Englishman explains. The Irishman looks at the ball. It's not exactly FIFA World Cup standard, is it? Oh, fuck me, Irish. We're not playing for the Jules Rimet at the San Siro. The German holds up his hand again. What now, Herman? I mean Engelbert. In Germany, we work first, then we play games. I do not think it is a good idea to play games here now. It's playing games on the field around Eton, or some bollocks like that won us 2 world wars, mainly against you lot. So until that Swedish bird Lilo comes back with some information, we're doing recreationing. It's Lola. Her name is Lola. A Lilo is an inflatable mattress generally used to float on water when you're on holiday, the Irishman informs him. Oh, thank you, Dr. Spock. As I was saying, until Lola gets back with some information, let's pass the time playing a friendly little game of footy. We've got fuck all else to do. We have if all this shit is for real, the Irishman says. Bollocks it is. Like I said before, it's either an eccentric billionaire's idea of some practical joke or a social experiment or something the fuck else. I'm not so sure. Nobody seems to know anything. That's why we're waiting for her to come back. Then we'll know. The Englishman picks up some water bottles and places them a few yards apart. Listen up. These are our goalposts. Rightio. Next thing. Irish? What? You, the Italian, and the French geezer on my team. Engelbert gets the Austrian, the Spanish bloke, and the fat Belgium. First to 5 wins. The Italian points out to the horizon. See, I see something over there. It is red. Something red over there, yes? Frustrated, the Englishman says, Are we ever going to have this fucking game? He looks out over the salt pan to where the Italian is pointing. The Irishman looks too. Oh, hello, what's that then? In the distance, a red convoy comprising of a Humvee, a quad, and a bike heads towards the Europeans. Well, ladies, we might be having the pleasure of meeting Mr. Soppy Bollocks, who's behind all this rigmarole, the Englishman says. He trots over to the container, picks up a pair of binoculars, and focuses on the incoming convoy. For our sake, let's hope Mr. Soppy has a big pair of friendly bollocks, the Irishman replies. They're waving at us, the Englishman waves back. I see Canadian bollocks. Like I said, Irish, we've got nothing to be concerned about. Just let me do the talking. That's what I'm concerned about. Englishman, why are you so sure? Only one winner. You remembered the message on the remote control, the Austrian man asks. Cobblers. What is this, cobblers? The Austrian asks. It means bollocks, the Irishman explains. Why does he do this talking of the testicles all the time? He's from London. It's what they do over there. They talk like a load of bollocks. Very funny, Irish. Very fucking drool, the Englishman says. Don't you mean droll? Whatever. The Englishman waves and hails the Canadians toward him. I'll be having their bollocks on a plate if they try and take back that money over there. The Canadians wave back. The red vehicles drive toward the European containers. You see, Irish, like I said, nothing to worry about. I don't know. Before she left, Lola was pretty serious about everything being, well, pretty serious. She told us to be on guard and defend ourselves if anyone pays a visit. I think we should go careful with these guys. She's a fucking Baltic bimbo. I'm telling you, this is all one big fucking gag. The Canadians' convoy pulls up within shouting distance. How you fellows doing, eh? A Canadian man shouts over from the red Humvee's gun turret. The Englishman yells back, We're fine, mate. Some big joke, right? Very funny. You really got us good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We sure got you good, the Canadian mutters to a teammate close by. Can you believe this fucking Brit? Want a game? The Englishman holds up the soccer ball. What? You're playing soccer? The Canadian man yells back. It's not soccer. It sure looks like soccer to me. It's football, mate. You play it with your foot. That's why we call it football. Heh. Oh, yeah, right. Football, the Canadian whispers to himself. This guy's fucking crazy. The Englishman kicks the ball over to the Canadian Humvee. So, how about us lot against you lot? No, we're all good, thank you. The Canadian shakes his head. What do you boys want then? 'Cause I would quite like to go home now. And just for the record, I'll be keeping the money as a sort of compensation. Oh no, we don't think you're going home just yet. No disrespect, mate, but why the fuck not? You're not going home because we want to kill you. The Canadians raise their hidden weapons and start blasting at the Europeans. Lola slows down her quad bike. Through the heat haze, she can just make out the blue European container and the red Canadian convoy. She stops the quad and listens. The faint sound of gunfire drifts over the salt pan toward her. She leaps off the quad and swings the M16 over her head. She grips the weapon in front of her and sprints toward the container. She runs fast.